Hi, my name is Phil Johnson. I'm the conductor for the virtual choir, the Pangea Choir Project. I'm here in lovely Traverse City, Michigan. You've got the Boardman River in the background that runs right through town. So we're excited that you've decided to take a look at this website and take a look at this project. We're hoping that you're joining us, and I'm going to go through some conductor's notes for video submissions to make sure that everybody knows what we're looking for. The piece we've selected for the virtual choir is Sing Me the Universal, written by Jeffrey Cobb. Jeff is a local Traverse City composer. He's also the director of the NMC Choirs and the NMC Children's Choir. He's a fantastic musician. He's selected text by three transcendentalist poets, Thoreau, Whitman, and Longfellow. When you submit your video for the Pangea Choir Project, we want to make sure you can be seen and you can be heard. Here are some simple things you can do to make sure that that happens. First, to be seen, make sure you're in a well-lit room. Make sure that you're wearing clothing that is solid colored and neutral colored. That will be most effective for video submissions. As far as being heard, do your best to find a place with low noise other than you. We want to hear you as much as possible and outside noise as little as possible. That will allow your video submission to be most successful. This is some advice on making sure that the quality of your video, singing-wise and performance-wise, is top-notch. First, do the best you can to make sure that you are always in the moment with the music. Even if your part has not been asked to sing, please remember you are a part of a virtual choir, and our future virtual audience will still be seeing you at times when you're not necessarily singing. Try to keep from scratching your face, coughing, getting up, taking a drink, that kind of thing. Keep it simple. Stay with the camera for the duration, just as if you're in the middle of a live performance. I'd like to give you a few words of advice on posture and breath support for your submission, starting with posture. If you're going to be sitting while you record yourself, please make sure that you're sitting in a chair that allows you to sit up straight and tall so that you can get full lung expansion when you breathe in. When you're breathing, try to take a silent breath by raising your soft palate and opening your throat on a breath in. Something along the lines of this, rather than this. If we can hear the sound of you breathing, you're creating additional tension in your throat. You're also reducing the amount of space of the air you can bring in, and you're drying your vocal cords. So make sure you take a deep, low-based, moisturizing breath. One of the best ways to make sure that your singing voice is the best it can be is to make sure you are breathing in the right places in the music. Try to make sure you're breathing 2 full measures before your part starts singing, particularly when there are rests. This will allow you to take a deep, full, relaxed breath without adding tension to your voice. For example, at the very beginning, before As the Birds Come in the Spring, you might breathe this long. As the birds come in the spring. That's going to allow you to take a nice deep breath and support the sound all the way through. There are lots of long held out notes throughout this piece. Good breathing is key. Looking at your music from letter B to letter C, there are 3 key points I'd like you to keep in mind while you're recording. Number 1, make sure you are enunciating. For example, as the birds come in the spring would not be too much consonant energy. In fact, I'd take more. Number 2, make sure you are taking preparatory breaths prior to starting to sing. As the birds come in the spring. And third, make sure you know where you are likely to run out of air. That might either be high notes or long-held notes. Save half of your breath for the top notes. 3 tips I'd like to offer between letter C and letter D, which is the first chorus. Number 1, the word heavenly. We want it to be a 2-syllable word, so we want it to sound like this. Heavenly made. The word is heavenly, not heavenly. Heavenly. Second tip is, in measure 38, the word is force. You need to sing for 2 full beats and put the s sound at the very beginning of the next measure. So it should sound like this. With its undying force. The third tip, at letter D, the word universal is a long word to hold. Make sure you're not breathing in the middle of it. I would like to hear this. Sing me the universal. Please do not breathe in the middle of the word universal. I'd now like to offer 3 tips at letter E. First, leading into letter E, you have a significant amount of time where you are not singing. However, stay engaged in the music, listen intently, and look interested. In your preparation for letter E, make sure you take 3.5 beats of breath prior to when you start singing. For example, as the grape. That way your singing will be consistent and even. We will not hear gasping breaths. Second, in measure 65, you hold the word pine for 3 full beats. Make sure you take enough air in at your breath prior to that to sing all the way through it. For example, as the wind comes to the pine. Do not allow your breath to run out. Make sure you take in enough air before that. Third tip, measure 69. Be very careful of the rhythm. You have 3 beats of rest. Beat 4, 5, and 6 are the new entrants. It should sound like this. Rest 2, 3, so to the. Be very careful of the rhythm in measure 69. Here are 3 quick tips at letter F. First, use all of the measure prior to letter F to breathe in so that you have enough air through the entire section. Second, at measure 91, after the word chanted, please notice the accompaniment track slows down so you have plenty of time to breathe. Use that time wisely. Third, in measure 94 and measure 95, do not breathe between the 2 sing me a songs. Breathe before them and after them, but not during them. For example, sing me a song, sing me a song. Before and after, but not between. I'd like to offer several tips between letter H and letter J. The first, when you enter at letter H, watch carefully the conductor track. You will see this, a downbeat. You sing on the upbeat, so it will look like this in tempo. Clear. Once again, it'll look like this. Clear. In measure 108, make sure you hold out the word harmony for full value so that we can hear your voice with all the other voices. Measure 113 and measure 114. Make sure you hold the word they for its full value. Make sure you keep a close eye on the conductor and what he does. Measure 114 and 115. The text is farther within. Please hold the syllable in for 3 full beats so that all the tracks sound alike. Measure 117. The text lightning is, the word is. You have 2 eighth notes tied together. Please use the second eighth note in that tie to put a consonant on the word is and also to really tank up so that you have plenty of air leading into the next section. It should sound like this. More swift its bolt than lightning is, its voice than thunder is more loud. All one breath after the syllable is. Measure 123, the word crowd. Please hold crow for 3 beats. Put the D on beat 4. It should sound like this. Crowd. This next note is specifically for tenors and basses at measure 126. On the text, lofty tone. Make sure you are floating it and think this. Lofty And if you watch my gesture while I'm conducting that, I actually conduct that. My hope is that you will float that and make it sound light as a feather. Measure 129 and 130. The lyrics are slowly by. Please make sure you hold the word by forever. Watch the conductor for the cutoff. Measures 131 and 132. I have a few things to ask of you. First, take a really good prep breath. There's a lot of singing, a lot of notes, and you have to hold the note at the end of the line for a long time. Number 2, the word alone. The 2 syllables are on different pitches, and lone. Make sure you put the consonant sound L on the top note D. This will prevent sliding. We do not want any sliding here. Number 3, the syllable lone is held in the music for 3 beats. However, the virtual conductor cuts it off after 2. Please be very aware of that change. Follow the conductor. I'm now going to give you some very part-specific notes surrounding letter K. First, sopranos, altos, and unison line. You sing the text, sing me the uni, then you breathe, and sing come, said the muse. It should sound like this. Sing me the uni, come, said the muse. Please do not breathe between un and I. Please do not breathe before you. Just breathe after uni. Come, said the muse. Gentlemen at letter K. You sing the text, sing me the universal, all without taking a breath. You get to breathe before sing me the universal, and you get to breathe after sing me the universal. You should not breathe anywhere in the middle. It should sound like this. Sing me the universal muse. Please note, the unison, soprano, and alto part in measure 54 is different both pitch-wise and rhythm-wise from the tenor and bass parts. The virtual conductor stays with the tenors and basses. Sopranos, altos, and unison line, I'm going to expect you to read it as it's written on the page. Measure 168, 169, and 170. We have more different rhythms for different parts. Soprano, alto, and unison line. You hold U of universal for 3 full beats. It should sound like this. Sing me the universal. Measure 168 and 169 for the tenor and bass parts should be 2 dotted half notes. It should sound like this. Universal. Please be very aware of the difference in rhythms between the soprano, alto, and unison line versus the tenor and bass line. They are different rhythms. The virtual conductor stays with the tenors and basses. Sopranos, altos, and unison line singers, I will expect you to sing the part as written. Once you've completed your part singing in measure 171, please stay engaged and listen with a big smile to the accompaniment as the song finishes. I want to encourage you to break up the song into small pieces for rehearsal purposes. It can be a lot to cover all at one time, but if you break it into small pieces and become familiar with it, you'll do just fine. Second, record your submission as many times as you need to get a submission you're happy with. It doesn't need to be perfect, but make sure you're happy with your submission. And third, I'm sure you can do this. We are truly looking forward to your submission, as well as all the other submissions from all around the world. Thank you for participating in the Pangea Choir Project.